What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Betting Booth Podcast. Sorry about that. On this week's episode, we've got MLB Weekly Recap. We've got NFL Week 2 recap and Week 3 predictions. We've got College Football Week 3 recap and Week 4 preview. And we've got Immaculate Grid. Let's get right into it. Usually I'd actually start with Immaculate Grid, but I want to get right out of the way. Browns game this week. To start off with this episode. And I usually don't jump to NFL, but I want to get the Browns game out of the way before anything else because I'm still in shambles on this game. I did stay up to watch this game, even though it was very late at night. And it was a bloodbath, to say the least. Nick Chubb's officially out for the year, which is a big blow. But Jerome Ford looked solid. Mink Fitzpatrick got injured. I don't know what his story is. Newsom and Ward went down. Both came back. This game was an absolute bloodbath in the injuries department and just a whack game. But the Steelers won 26-22 because simply Deshaun Watson single-handedly cost Browns the game because he literally had 3 turnovers on his own. Pick 6 on literally Brown's first offensive snap of the game, though technically it was tipped out of Harrison Bryant's hands, so the pass was behind him. Whole thing, but another story for another day. And then 2 fumbles, including the fumble that gave the Steelers the lead for good, and just was a rough game. And I'm just left in shambles. Like, is this even the right quarterback? And someone was saying to me, I'm not going to say who this was, but someone was saying to me, at least you're not the Jets. But are the Browns even in a better situation than the Jets in the moment? I don't know, really. And it's hard to say that, and I can't believe I'm even thinking that, but this loss has just left me in a lot of shambles. And I didn't post an immediate reaction because I needed time to, get myself cool down because I was way more full out reacted at the moment once the game ended than now. But I don't know. I don't know how to really put this loss, really. I guess let me know what your thoughts on the game is in comments below, but I'm just left in shambles, and I don't know what more to say. Hopefully it bounce back with Tennessee next week. All right, so let's get into this Immaculate Grid. Enough with just the Browns game because I'm not biased channel, or at least try not to be. Okay. Sorry about that. I just wanted to start with that. Okay. Sorry about that. So, the Immaculate Grid, the top 3 are Red Sox, Boston Red Sox, Oakland A's, 30-plus stolen base season. This is for audio that aren't seeing this, possibly. And then going down is Washington Nationals, Milwaukee Brewers, and Houston Astros. Houston Astros, Boston Red Sox. I just thought of someone, Marwin Gonzalez. 2%. Okay. Red Sox and Nationals. Well, I know someone, but I feel like it's going to be too obvious of an answer, and that would be Pedro Martinez, because Nationals does include Expos, but I feel like that's going to be the most given answer of them all. Then again, Kyle Schwarber's also an answer. I'm going to come back to that, actually. Red Sox and Brewers, I have someone, Travis Shaw. The Cubs killer practically when he was with Milwaukee. I'm going to come back to Red Sox Nationals. Nationals A's, I could go with I just realized someone anyways. Andre Dawson played at the end of his career with the Red Sox for a year, so that's a good find. Okay. Nationals and A's, which concludes Expos. Sean Doolittle fits this, but I feel like that's going to be the most obvious answer of them all. who else would fit? And it could also include Expos. Oh, Bartolo Colon. Recently just retired. 9%. Retired as a Met. Okay, Milwaukee, Oakland, Eric Sogard. Well, the question is that going to be the obvious answer? Eric Sogard's the one that first comes to mind. And honestly, I don't know if I have anyone else. And if it happens to be the top answer, so be it. 2%, so it's not the top answer. So there's probably someone I'm not thinking of that's the top answer. I'll take it. Ease and Astros. Tony Kemp fits it. Josh Reddick, I feel like, is going to be a less common answer. So that's what I'm going to go with. 17%. Wow, was not expecting that high of a number. Okay. 30 plus stolen bases for Nationals and Expos. Trey Turner is like an answer that's probably going to be the most obvious. Tim Raines possibly did for the Expos. But I'm not 100% sure. I don't think Michael A. Taylor would have done it ever. I don't think Victor Robles ever did. Do I take a risk and go with Tim Raines? Let's send it. And if I'm wrong, so be it. No, 18%. Wow. Good send. Okay, Milwaukee. Robin Yount for sure fits the bill. Does Gene Segura fit the bill? Yes, 2%. That is a good find. Because he's like a sneak. He's more contact and speed with a little sneaky power. Oh, wow. I just got sent the historical note about Braves' most recent game. That Marcell Ozuna hit his 35th home run of the season, becoming a fourth Braves hitter to reach 35 homers this season. The Braves are the first team in MLB history to have 4 players with 35 homers in a season. Wow, good for Atlanta. Anyways, so now Astros 30 plus stolen base season. Joe Morgan might have, but then again, he might have been more powered enough that, like, no. Biggio is definitely possible. Miles Straw could have. Siri maybe. I'm just going to send Biggio, but I'm not so confident on Craig Biggio. And I was correct. 16%. So 78 overall. Josh Reddick was the top answer, oddly enough. Pedro was top answer for Red Sox and Nationals. It's a good thing I didn't go there. Red Sox Brewers was Jackie Bradley Jr. Red Sox Astros is Roger Clemens, of course. Nationals A's was Sean Doolittle. That's a good one I did not use. A's Brewers is Raleigh Fingers. That makes sense. I almost forgot even was a. I guess he's not really forgettable for either team because he was part of big teams with the Brewers. Josh Reddick was the top answer for A's and Astros, oddly enough, which is interesting. Trey Turner was the highest for Nationals 30-plus stolen base season. Yelich for Brewers, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure he did it in at least his MVP season. Might have even done it in 2019 as well. Might have even done it this year, and I don't even know. And then Jose Altuve for the Astros, that also makes sense. I am curious to see what other options I had for some of these teams. And you know what? I'll even share these tabs as I flip into them. CJ Abrams fits. Denard Span, interesting. Niger Morgan, Alfonso Soriano, Andy Chavez, Vlad did it. Interesting. And this includes Expos, by the way. Mark Rudzelanek, Marquise Grissom, Delino DeShields, All of these names I definitely recognize so far. Ivan Calderon, never heard of him. Otis Nixon, Tim Raines, Mitch Webster, vaguely heard of, not really. Dawson, Rodney Scott, Ronald Flores, definitely some names I recognize. Go back to, okay. What other names could I use for Milwaukee? Lorenzo Cain, Hernan Perez, Jonathan Villar, Carlos Gomez. Yelich was from 19. Interesting. Could be in 18 as well. No, never mind. Gene Segura, of course, who I used. Nori Aoki. That's interesting. Ryan Braun. Fair enough. Podsednik. I'm not even sure if I knew Scott Podsednik played for the Brewers. Alex Sanchez, Eric Young Sr., Daryl Hamilton, Pat Listash, Paul Molitor. Did not know he would have done it. Mike Felder, Paul Mall, and then Tommy Harper. So a bunch of those names I've recognized. Some I have not. Hold on. And last, see, what other answers are there for Astros? Okay, Altuve, Borges. I have no idea who Jason Borges is. Michael Bourne, Willie Tavares, Jeff Bagwell, interestingly enough. Brian Hunter, Steve Finley, that's a good one. Eric Yelding, Gerald Young, Kevin Bass, Billy Hatcher, Bill Duran, Billy Hatcher. Definitely some names I recognize here. Joe Morgan did. Good to know. And, well, that's pretty much it. So that's it for the Immaculate Grid for this week. So let's actually just stay with NFL and just do NFL first since I started with NFL. I will say this week I actually did a lot better in predictions this week, though there were some crazy games. I basically had my record from last week flipped, so instead of 7-9, I went 9-7 this week. But with predictions this week, one of the predictions I got wrong is Atlanta actually beat the Packers, but by 1 point, 25-24. The story of this game pretty much was first 3 quarters or 2 quarters or so were all Packers, and the fourth quarter, the Packers offense just went silent, and the Falcons were able to win by 1. Ravens beat the Bengals 27-24. It wasn't much of a, Burrow had a bad game. It was more of just that's how it played out. So they're 0-2 again. Seattle beat Detroit 37-31 in overtime on Geno Smith's 6-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett. The Colts beat the Texans 31-20, but Anthony Richardson left with a concussion. I am not sure about update on his injury. Down 28-7, the Giants came back to win 31-28 versus Arizona. First Giants comeback win of 21-plus points since October 30th of 1949 against at the Chicago Cardinals, which is tied for a franchise record. And Russell Wilson in the Denver Commanders game, Russell Wilson got a 50-yard Hail Mary at the end of the game to get Denver within 2 points, which was a touchdown, by the way. Tipped a few times and then caught for a touchdown, but missed the 2-point conversion and ended up losing to the Commanders 35-33. And that is the NFL games part of the recap. My prediction record for this past week was 9-7. Pretty good week. Overall, I am 16-16. Standings update. Dolphins in first place at 2-0, followed by the Jets and Bills, both 1-1, followed by the 0-2 Patriots. The AFC North, the Ravens are first at 2-0, followed by the 1-1 Steelers and Browns, followed by the 0-2 Bengals. AFC South, 3-way tie for first at 1-1 between the Jaguars, Colts, and Titans, followed by the Texans, who are 0-2. AFC West, The Raiders and Chiefs are both 1-1, while the Broncos and Chargers are both 0-2. That's for the AFC. For the NFC, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders are all 2-0, while the Giants are 1-1. For the NFC North, the Packers and Lions are both 1-1, followed by with the Vikings and Bears both 0-2. AFC South, everyone but Carolina is 2-0, being Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. Carolina is 0-2. They made a little bit of a comeback last night, but not enough to win against New Orleans. And then the AFC West, San Francisco is 2-0, with Seattle and the Rams both 1-1, and then the Cardinals are 0-2. So, Week 3 predictions. Thursday night this week, probably not going to be much of a contest between the Giants and the 49ers. New York Giants going to San Francisco, taking on the 49ers. I think this is probably going to be an absolute blowout. San Francisco wins, though. I mean, then again, they were close this week with the Rams, but I don't think the Giants are going to have much of a shot, especially with Saquon Barkley out a few weeks, who left the game with ankle injury. He's going to be out, I think, 3 weeks. Colts at Ravens. I have the Ravens. Titans at Browns. Even with how much the Browns did struggle this week, I do have hope for bounce back, and I have the Browns winning this game. Falcons at Lions. I have the Lions. Saints at Packers. I have the Saints. Texans at Jaguars. I have the Jaguars. Broncos at Miami. I have Miami. Chargers at Vikings. I have the Vikings. Patriots at Jets. I have the Patriots. Bills at Commanders. I have the Bills. Panthers at Seahawks. I have Seattle. Dallas at Arizona. I have the Cowboys. Bears at Chiefs. I have Kansas City. Sunday Night Football is going to be the Steelers at Vegas taking on the Raiders. I have Vegas. First Monday night game is going to be Philly at Tampa. Tampa being 2-0, but I have Philly winning this game. And then the second Monday night game is going to be a rematch of Super Bowl in 2021 between the Rams and the Bengals at Cincinnati, and I have the Bengals winning that game. So that is my Week 3 predictions and general NFL recap for this week. Now to college football. And what an interesting weekend we had. I'm not going to even talk about the Ohio State game that they blew out 63-10 against Kentucky, taking care of the business they had to take care of. But moving on from that, otherwise, though, number 10, Alabama, coming off their loss to – hold on one moment. Coming off their loss to Texas, well, they struggled with USF. Southern Florida, they did win 17-3, but not with a lot of struggle. They tried 2 new different quarterbacks instead of Jalen Milroe, who started the Texas game. It's been shaky, and it failed. Milroe could be back starting this week in a key matchup against an Ole Miss. Florida upset number 11, Tennessee 29-16. Missouri upset number 15, Kansas State 30-27 on a game-winning 61-yard field goal. Georgia, Texas both struggled in their games. Georgia against South Carolina, Texas against Wyoming, who was tied. They were tied at 10-10 at one point, but both went on to win in the end. Number 19, Colorado barely edged out Colorado State 43-35 in double overtime, but there was a key injury on Colorado's part. They're going to be without Travis Hunter for 3 weeks, who got majorly wrecked, and the defender should have been ejected for targeting, but it wasn't called for targeting, stupidly enough. But also Colorado was shaky in this game, and Colorado State probably should have won this game, to be honest. Also, the whole week going into this game, there had been beef between Colorado State's head coach. I have no idea what his name is, and I'm not going to try to care, to be honest. And Colorado's coach, Deion Primetime Sanders. But if you want to learn about it, look it up. You can find stuff on YouTube about it. Anyways, that's a recap for Week 3. Week 4 matchups are key. Number 19, Colorado at number 10, Oregon. That's going to be 3:30 on ABC. Number 6, Ohio State at number 9, Notre Dame. One of the big matchups for Ohio State this year. 7:30 on NBC. Rematch of last year, which Ohio State won 21-10. We're interested to see how this one will play out, especially this time since it's going to be at Notre Dame. Number 15, Ole Miss at number 13, Alabama, 3:30 on CBS. Number 22, UCLA at number 11, Utah, 3:30 on Fox. Number 14, Oregon State at number 21, Washington State, 7 p.m. on Fox. And number 24, Iowa at number 7, Penn State, 7:30 on CBS. A lot of ranked teams going head-to-head this week. That's the key headlines of the matchups for this week. So that is college football recap. It's going to be interesting to see how those games play out. Ohio State one's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for, especially with last year, because the score really doesn't tell the story of that game. That game was a very much back and forth, and Ohio State barely came out with a win last year. Interested to see how it play out this year. I believe last I checked, I think the line was Ohio State by like 2.5 or 3.5. Let's see. Yeah, Ohio State's 3.5 point favorites going into that game against Notre Dame. All right, so MLB weekly recap. 5-run first leads White Sox 6-2 win in game 1 of 2 against the Royals in doubleheader. Matt Olson leadoff solo home run. The fourth was his 51st of the year and his Atlanta record. Board of the 35-plus homers of 4-plus Braves have done it this year. And Braves 7-6 win in 10 innings over Philly. And the next day, with a 4-1 win over Philly, they clinched their 6th straight NL East title. Aaron Judge go-ahead grand slam homer and 5-run second leads the Yankees over the Red Sox in the second game of doubleheader, 8-5. They had 2 doubleheaders in this past period. I think both were split. I think both were split if I'm remembering correctly. With grand slam homer in second, Royce Lewis became first player in MLB history with 5 grand slam home runs within first 16 career homers or games. I forget. I think homers. And the Twins 10-2 win over the White Sox. Matt Waldron, who's a knuckleballer, got the win, going 5 in the third innings, giving up 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. The Padres 5-2 win over the A's. He's the first knuckleballer to win a game as a pitcher since Stephen Wright on September 20th, 2018 for the Boston Red Sox. 6-run 8th leads Marlins over the Braves 11-5. 5-run 11th leads Dodgers to 6-2 win over Seattle in 11 innings, and the NL West division title and 10th NL West division title in 11 years. They did not win it in 2021. 9-run 4th leads Cleveland over Texas 9-2. 8-run 6th helps Giants over the Rockies 11-10. Jake Rogers 2-homer game leads Tigers over the Angels 5-3. Mike Clevenger had a complete game, first complete game the White Sox have had this year, giving up 6 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts, and White Sox 6-1 win over the Nationals. Finally, after taking a very long time, Waino finally got his 200th career win last night, going 7 innings, giving up 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a 1-0 Cardinals win over the Brewers. Congrats to him. But he has had like a really bad season, and it might do damage to his resume. If you want to learn how good and like all about it, Jolly Olive, who's a great YouTube content creator, does MLB content. He's also with John Boy Media. Put out a video about it, and it's very interesting. It was posted before he got 298. Well, it was posted after he got 299, but he filmed it before 298.9 and before 199 200. But definitely go check it out. I don't have it linked in the description. I might probably won't have a link in the description. We can find it easily on YouTube. And then Cedric Mullins 3-run home run off of Ryan Presley in the 9th in the Orioles 8-7 win over the Astros. Why is this relevant? Well, because it's a 1 month and 11 days after Kyle Tucker's infamous grand slam home run off Felix Bautista in Baltimore against Houston from this year. And that is the game's part of this recap. Standings update, which, by the way, once teams clinch divisions, and I've mentioned that they've clinched it, I'm not including those standings anymore. So NL East and NL West standings, I'm not including anymore in the episodes. We'll only be doing AL East, AL Central, AL West, and AL Central, just for future episodes. I haven't updated for this episode, but beyond won't be covering clinched divisions. Orioles in first place at 94 and 56. Their magic number to the clinching division is 10. They've clinched the playoff spot. Rays in second place at 92 59, 2.5 games back. They've clinched a playoff spot. First AL wildcard team to clinch a playoff spot. And as for the AL East, for the AL Central, the Twins in first place at 79 72. Their magic number to winning the division is 5. Followed by the Guardians, who are 72 and 79, 7 games back. Followed by the Tigers at 70 and 88.5 games back. For the AL West, the Astros in first place at 84 and 67. Their magic number is 11. Followed by the Mariners at 82 68. Their magic 1.5 games back. Followed by the Rangers at 82 and 68, 1.5 games back as well. NL East, the Braves ended this period at 96-54, having clinched the NL East and a playoff spot. Of course, we'll not be covering the NL East standings for here on out. NL Central, the Brewers in first place at 84-66. Their magic number to clinching the division is 7, followed by the Cubs at 78-72. They got swept by Arizona, have lost like bad, and they might not even make the playoffs at this point. They're really starting to slip. They're 6 games back, followed by the Reds at 79-73, 6 also games back. And then it was, of course, Dodgers in first place, having clinched the division at 92-57. AL wildcard standings, the Rays are 9.5 games up in first with clinching playoff spot, followed by the Blue Jays at 83-67, half game up, followed by the Mariners and Rangers both tied for third, with magic number to clinching playoff spot being 7 for whoever would be that third team. Followed by the Yankees in fifth at 76-74, 6 games back, followed by the Red Sox 75-76, 7.5 games back. And then for the NL, the Phillies in first place, 4 games up at 81-67, followed by the Diamondbacks 79-72, 4.5 game up, followed by the Cubs, who are not up by any and are actually tied with the Reds at the moment, with the magic number clinching the third spot being 11 at the moment, followed by the Marlins in fifth at 78-73, half game back, followed by the Giants at 76-74, 2 games back, followed by a tie for seventh between the Mets and the Pirates, both at 70-80, both 8 games back. As the standings part. And now for today's schedule, Angels at Rays at 640, Twins at Reds at 640, Mets at Marlins at 640, White Sox at Nationals at 705, Blue Jays at Yankees at 705, Phillies at Braves at 720, Pirates at Cubs at 740, Cleveland at Kansas City at 740. All these times are Eastern, by the way, even though I'm doing this from Israel. Milwaukee at St. Louis at 745, Red Sox at Rangers at 805, Orioles at Astros at 8:10, Rockies at Padres at 9:40, Mariners at A's at 9:40, Giants at Diamondbacks at 9:40, and Tigers at Dodgers at 10:10. So that is this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a notification bell so you're notified when I go live and or post a new video. If you are new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will see you in next week's episode 94, with NFL Weekly Recap, College Football Recap, MLB Weekly Recap, and whatever else happens between now and then. Bye-bye.